Welcome to Taste Buds. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, writer, and foodie. And today I'm speaking with Asif Culinary Institute of Israel CEO, Chico Menashe. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So, what is Asif and what are you doing to make the world a better place?
On a regular basis, outside of the current situation, the current war we have in Israel, Asif is a Culinary Institute. It's a cultural center. It's a nonprofit based in Tel Aviv. We were founded in 2021 in order to promote and nurture and to advance the discourse and the documenting and promoting the Israeli food culture, the culinary culture that we have here. It's an Israeli food culture, not specifically Jewish culture, because we have so many societies and cultures here. So we have influences from all over the world, all over the Middle East. So all of them are being curated and researched here. We have a public library in our space here in Tel Aviv that you see. I'm right inside the library right now. It's not a wall. It's a real public library with more than 2,000 books, all dedicated to culinary issues and books. And we have a gallery one floor beneath me, and a restaurant, all day daily cafe, all um, based and all focused on Israeli dishes and Israeli ingredients. We have public programming and a lot of online content that we have on our website. So this is the normal days of Asif, but right now, of course, we're not on these normal days, and we're all focused to the various needs that we have in local communities here in Israel that I'll be more than happy to share with you.
Okay, well, before we go into non normal days, I want to talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about Israeli food. What is it with everybody's fascination with Israeli food?
I think it's a combination of traditions that we have here. So many societies that came into Israel and created this big pot of cultures, of recipes, of family traditions, of the everyone came into Israel with its own heritage and gave its part to this cultural asset, this cultural treasure that we have. Everyone has it in its home, and as you well know, it grew internationally. Of course, it happens here in Israel, but it's not by accident that so many Israeli restaurants are succeeding worldwide, because I think that this Israeli combination of creativity, of innovative thinking, of daring, this Israeli chutzpah doesn't happen only in the high tech, in the Israeli high tech or in the Israeli military. It happens also in the kitchen. That people try stuff, that people are checking combinations between various places. They bring their own identity, but have also many influences from other identities, from the Jewish world, of course, but also we have a lot of Palestinian influence on our food, and Syrian and Lebanese. So this big pot that happens here in Israel is something that we're trying to advance and really to demonstrate, both internally but also externally, how the Israeli food and what we have here is really the essence, part of the essence of the Israeli culture as a whole. It's not only something that we enjoy to cook. It's really part of our Israeli culture here.
I love the idea of putting chutzpah in the kitchen. So, how can people who aren't in Israel put more chutzpah into their food?
Basically, I think it's to be open to new ideas, to new recipes, to new tastes. If you or I get into Asif's website, for example, or any other website that has that brings this inspiration of creativity, is trying out new stuff that they don't know, that they're not familiar, is opening a book that contains offerings or contains ideas that I never heard about them or never tried them, to dare and try. Go out, and buy the ingredients that you read in the book that you're not familiar with, and try it out. So this is, I think, part of the the Israeli way of first try, and then check how well is the result. You might like it, you might not, but dare to try. This is the first, I think, Israeli ingredient for our food culture. One of them.
I love that. Do you have an example of something that you tried that, like, blew your mind? You had no idea it was gonna be that amazing?
Actually, the latest one was including it was new for me, but including watermelon inside, traditional dishes that I wouldn't have tried before. Just put into into salad or into another salty dish, perhaps. It's something I tried lately, and actually it turned out quite well, together with some combination of sesame oil or something. This is my latest private test that I had. But here at Asif, we have actually a test kitchen on our fourth floor, that we get recipes from various activities that we're doing also during the war, and we test these recipes, and the ones that we recognize that they bring special value, special cultural traditional value, we put them on our website in order to share as much as possible the inspiration and the knowledge that we gather here at our organization.
And I know that you're going to share a recipe, because I don't think it's nice to make people hungry and not give them an opportunity to create. What recipe were you planning? And if you go to jewishjournal.com/podcast, you will get the recipe there as well. So what's cooking today, Chico?
It's a recipe I didn't try, but we documented this recipe very lately during one of our projects that we might discuss about them a bit later. But it's a recipe for a veal sweetbread stew. It's something that a displaced lady from Sderot shared with us when she came to cook in Tel Aviv, in a place that she doesn't know, a kitchen in Tel Aviv that offered her the space to cook because she doesn't have where to cook. She's For a few months she's sort of stuck in the hotel in Tel Aviv, nowhere to cook, and she came there and she wanted to cook this dish. And we found out that it's an interesting traditional dish that she got from her mother, and perhaps her mother got it from her mother, and she cooked it for her, just for her adult boys. She has 20 or 30 years old boys. They miss so much this dish, and it's a special dish for both for Rosh Hashanah and Pesach. And she cooked it, and it turned out to be a very interesting and probably very tasty dish. I'll be more than happy to share with you. It will be all on our website and on your website.
Okay. And so this is the open kitchen project that you were talking about,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Correct.
What is that, and how did it come? I mean, you kind of mentioned it. I feel like we're going backwards into it, but I'm okay with that. So please share more.
Sure. The Open Kitchen project is a project that we started really around 2 months ago. We recognized a real need among the displaced communities that most of them were in Tel Aviv, but this project grew outside of Tel Aviv also. We learned from them during few months that we cooked for the displaced families. We cooked here at Asif every day, 1,500 meals per day for a few months. But on the last month, we identified the need not only to eat, but to get back to the kitchen and cook, to get back the smells and the feeling and the heat of the kitchen. They really appreciated the meals that we prepared for them for a few months, but they told us, "Hey, thank you, but actually, what we miss is to get back into the kitchen." So what we designed is a project where we reach out to local communities in Tel Aviv. Right now, it's also outside of Tel Aviv in 4 or 5 more cities. And we ask for volunteers that wish or agree to open their kitchens to the displaced communities. Most of them are displaced ladies that want to cook, more ladies than men. And we got a very nice long list of volunteers that said, "Hey, we are willing to open our private home. They can have our kitchen." And we are sort of the matchmakers between the cooks that were displaced from their homes on October 7th and the local communities that wish to open their kitchens. And we found out it's a lot of work actually to make this combination. Some of them need strict kosher kitchen, others do not, others have allergies. And we trying to make the best connection, the best match between the two individuals. But we found out that we created not only a connection between individuals, we connected families. And after that, we created a connection between communities, because when the lady from Sderot in the south of Israel comes to the flat in Tel Aviv, a small flat in Tel Aviv, I was there watching, them cooking, and she gets out with the big kube dishes, and she brings them back to her hotel. Her friends are smelling and looking and asking, "Hey, where did you make it? We only have this, hotel food here, which we don't really like." And she tells them, and after a day or two, she comes back with 1 or 2 friends. And we had one case where one of the cooks wanted to bake. One of the ladies wanted to bake a few cakes for their community in the Tel Aviv hotel. The thousands of people still live in the local hotels here around us. And she started cooking 5, 7 cakes. It turned out successful, and she decided to make 20 cakes in one place. But the lady that hosts her has only 2 ovens. So what do we do in Israel? Getting back to my chutzpah part, knocking on the neighbors' doors in the building where she came and asking, "Hey, can we use your kitchen for an hour or two?" Most of the people are saying, "Yeah, sure, please come in." Turning on the oven and making more than 20 cakes in one evening that she came to cook. And we have so many these type of stories that we found out that we're creating friendships between people from Kiryat Shmona in the north and people from Givatayim or Tel Aviv. And it's sort of interaction between people, really people to people and community to community, that on other times I have to agree to tell you that it doesn't really happen. Okay, people from the periphery of Israel are mostly within their communities. The Tel Aviv communities live in Tel Aviv inside their, we call it the Tel Aviv bubble. And suddenly there is such a connection in the kitchen, in the private kitchen, between 2 ladies that never met. They met for the first time on that evening, and it's growing amazingly. And um, all of these interactions create and sort of give birth to traditional private family recipes and dishes that the most interesting ones of them, we bring to our test kitchen. As I mentioned, we do test for the recipe, we write professionally the recipe, we do photography, we gather the story of the family that creates and the background of this recipe, and we put it all on our website. And it creates, it's not only a database, it's a treasure box, an online treasure box of families' unique recipes with their stories, with their traditions, with their heritage. And it's something we're really both inspired and proud of.
There are just so many amazing things about this process. It's it's the passing on, the treasured box of the recipe box. That's the visual that I got from that. But how important is cooking in these challenging times? I mean, you're gonna say it's very, but you can expand on that.
Yeah, it's more than very. I find it as the most one of the most important expressions and symbols for normality. You have this word in English, I think, of normal life. The situation here in Israel is everything but normal. When people are displaced to local hotels for months and they live with their five, sometimes six family members in a hotel room, we think of hotel as tourist and fun and, a little bit spoiling, but it's exactly the opposite. They are in the hotels outside of their homes for months and they wish to have some normality, some normal life. And food and cooking and smelling and tasting is, I think, one of the best expressions of feeling, at home and feeling your family normal life that everyone wants to have and still they don't have it. So when they get into the kitchen and cook the recipe and being busy, with something that is not taking care of the kids, it's a real magic, and it's something that relates to their most essential well-being needs we see. And we also recognize that successful, actually all of them were successful, only one of them was problematic, that there was a very big kuba dish that was spilled over the sofa of the host, but we took care of it also. But all of these interactions worked like magic, and they keep coming to each other, and friendships are created, and also interesting communication, and we see that suddenly the host opens a box with the recipes of her grandmother, and suddenly the lady from Kiryat Shmona sees a very similar recipe to something that she knew from her family, and they exchange the stories, and it's total different background. Okay, people from, someone Ashkenazi from Tel Aviv meet someone that came from Morocco to Kiryat Shmona, and it's a combination of these traditions and this big Israeli pot that we see in a very small Tel Aviv flat. But as I mentioned, it's a spark that happens there, and a real magic in the kitchen.
Well, it's a beautiful story and such wonderful thing that you do a lot of really good things at Asif. I'm fortunate enough to I get I get front row because I'm always kept in the loop of the wonderful things that you're doing. But
Thank
this
you.
to me feels um, extra special because there's nothing like normalcy to really make you feel hope, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree. I totally agree. And we decided to to keep this project active until the needs change. As long as the people are there, we give them the opportunity. We don't only do, by the way, the matchmaking. We also very often we hear difficulties among the displaced families, that one of the difficulties is paying for the costs of the ingredients. So we send them also an online voucher that they can just make the reservation. They send it online to the flat where they go. We tell them, we take care for the kitchen, we take care for the ingredients, just bring your recipe and come and cook. So it works really well.
Absolutely beautiful. Any final food for thought that you wish to share about food, cooking, community, Israeli cuisine, and chutzpah?
One of the we're trying to deal with the current needs, but also to look ahead. And we just launched at our website asif.org a new project that actually many people abroad that plan to come to Israel sometime during the war or after the war might be very interested in. It's called the mosaic of flavors. It's something that I really recommend everyone to go and have a look. It's set of very, very colorful and in-depth recommendations by the best culinary expert in Israel that recommend each one of them 11 we started with a bunch of 11 experts recommend their best places in Israel, not only where to eat, but all the wineries and unique dairies and all of the most important culinary places in Israel. So I really I think that our current activity dealing with the current needs, but also looking ahead, how to keep promoting this ecosystem of culinary, the Israeli culinary here around us. It's something that we are busy also during these days. So I really advise everyone to have a look, and I think that people will find it quite interesting and inspiring.
Well, looking to the future is the other, bird of a hope, right? This is what we're doing now, how we're bringing warmth, love, and comfort, but also looking to getting back to more normal festive times.
Yeah,
So,
correct.
thank you so much, Chico, for joining me. I was going to ask where people can find you, but you already told me. If you go to asif.org, you can learn more about all the wonderful things you're doing and get lots of delicious recipes and find some more ways to put chutzpah into your cooking by taking someone else's food memories and making it part of your own family food. Thank you again, Chico, for taking the
Thank you,
time
Deborah.
today. Thank you for tuning in to Taste Buds with Deb. Don't miss an episode. You can subscribe on YouTube and or your favorite podcast platform. And you can go to jewishjournal.com/podcast to get the recipes and also read the articles, get a little bit more information. Go out there, have chutzpah, enjoy new flavors. Also enjoy those family memories, the food memories that go with so much rich history of food. And you can learn more at tastebudwithdeb.com. Until next time, bon appetit.